Well, hi, folks. It is me, Supreme Heretic. Sorry if my mind's like all over the place. It's y'all know what's going on, so it's just kind of been flying by the seat of my pants today. But got our favorite sassy Southern Belle, my wonderful co-hostess. And she is just the cat's meow. Let's face it, y'all. Um,
Good
you know,
evening, y'all.
so R1's here with me, and BD, of course, is at Dragon Con, so he couldn't make it. Hi, Rita. Hi, Shane. Hi, Dwayne. Hi, Ruth Korean. And I know Tehilam's here, and Normie's here, and Dr. Alex Stein, PhD. What's up, guys? It's great to see
Gangs
you.
together. That's right.
I'm hanging in there, Rita. By the way, it's a little rough, but I'm here. All right, we're gonna do the season 3 episode. It is called "The Ties That Bind," and yeah, this one is a good one. And Scott, thank you so much, buddy. And it's rough right now. Things are still not well with her. She at least is not sleeping so much, which is good. But yeah, it's she got a lot of things going on. So thank you for that. But yeah, this episode ties the bind. It's really good. There, there is a semi big death in here, and we'll get to it. But yeah, it's this episode kind of shows us. It jumps around the Cylon perspective, the human perspective. So, we get some interplay there. We get to see what's going on. But the Cylon Civil War is starting to ramp up.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of intrigue going on. And shit's kind of hitting the fan on
I was just thinking that exact
on
same
the human
expression.
side.
Yes,
Yep.
it is. Getting
So,
heavy.
so we do have a it's not as good as the usual wonderful scripts that BD craps when he puts together the discussion, but we got a pretty fairly decent one. Um, and pretty much I'll start it off, and then I'll let Arwen read into the rest of them. But
Sure.
at the beginning, it's kind of like you see like Cylon fleet. There's a resurrection ship, number of base stars, whatever, and it presumably cuts to the resurrection ship, and you see, they kind of recap. They show where they boxed Deanna's line a while back and all that, and then you see Cable resurrecting, and there's another Cable, and Boomer's there. And Cable is explaining that he died because one of their own Centurions opened up on him, and he explains to other Cable that that he has to get back to the ship, and then the Cable that's waiting at the is standing there with Boomer tells them that, yeah, you're probably not going to go back to your ship because the sort of the sixes and a number of the other Cylons that are sympathetic with their cause, sixes, the eights, they've kind of taken over that ship. And Boomer says, well, I guess my swing vote was meaningless, blah, blah, blah. And then Campbell said, it'll teach me to support democracy.
Yeah.
And so then we see it cuts over to the human fleet, Galactica. See Callie and the chief's quarters. Callie's popping meds by now. The kid's crying.
Yeah, she's not doing well.
And she's looking like she's barely keeping it together. That her and Chief Tiro get in an argument. They're getting loud and whatnot, and then finally the Chief walks out, and he winds up heading down to Joe's bar. Now he's sitting there in the bar. He's talking to Tori, and Callie, I guess, decided she was going to follow him. So she sees him and Tori Foster talking, and it just so she just so happens to see when because Tori's been drinking, and kind of the body language standing from far away doesn't look too flattering on either of them, because she kind of she's touching his arm and telling him like blah blah blah, and and all that Callie's seeing is like, oh, okay, this bitch is touching my husband, and she comes up and kind of confronts him, and then obviously the chief's like, this is basically said this ain't what it looks like, blah, and then she basically walks off with their kid in her arms, and Tori's just sitting there like drinking as they walk off, and that's pretty much the first part here. So thoughts on that?
Well, I take notes, and the notes on Tori, I put, what a bitch, because she is just hook, line, and sinker into Terrell right now. And you know what I find interesting about the humans in this episode is how awful they all look. They all have the major bags under their eyes. They all look sallow. They all look exhausted.
Yeah.
In this episode. And particularly the scene with Tori and Terrell, you can just see him working him. She is just like, and you can see the little wheels spinning. And she's, at this point, even though I think they're all trying to kind of figure out where they fit, yes, they're Cylons, but yes, they're also, they see themselves as completely human. And she is really buying into this. And I think she's starting to see herself better than the humans on the ship. She's embracing it now. And Terrell's still wrestling with it. He's still like, well, no, I'm still who I am. But yet, he's fighting with Callie, and they're having problems. So that's putting stress on him. And she's just like that, that snake in oil, like, oh, it'll be great. It'll be okay. It'll be fine. And she is working him. And I just, I can't stand her. I want to smack her. I just can't stand her in this episode.
And so, we also, it's just, you could tell, man, that that Callie is not in a great place as it is, and
No, she's not.
just seeing that the first thing that just completely set her off because she was just like, well, you know, because most. I guess anybody's response is like, you see your significant other at a bar
Yeah.
with another chick. It's like, well, all right, because the first conclusion y'all are gonna think is like, oh man, all right, is he putting his dick in her?
I mean, yeah, that's exactly. And when you're fighting and when things are not good and things are stressful, and then and women have kind of a sixth sense about these things. And I'm not saying we're always right, but when something is wrong and yeah, we see something like that, that's where our mind's going to go. Oh, this is why things are bad because they've got a side piece. Now it
Mm-hmm.
makes sense. He said he had to go to work, and here he is in a bar, and she's got her hand all over up and down his elbow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what else would you think?
Oh yeah,
And
and
she's not in a space to stop and hear him out and be rational about it because she's so just not doing well in her own right.
yeah, and and for women, and hail Rescue, good to see you, buddy, and good to see you, Captain James T. Skywalker and Dadman Walking. Good to see you guys.
Hey, y'all.
Yeah, the thing too with that kind of body language, yeah, there pretty much isn't any other conclusion that you would draw from that. So
Really not.
so yeah, that would be very um, unflattering for the guy.
But I've got something that I've been thinking about, and I think about this every time I watch it. And of course, ultimately things are explained. But Terrell, does he never stop and think, okay, I'm a Cylon and I've had a child with this woman. This is a miracle baby.
Mm-hmm.
Does he never, I don't know, the show never quite, at least during this part, and maybe he's so wrapped up in other things that they're trying to imply that the character is not even paying attention to that. But I know if I found out I was a Cylon, like if I was him and I found that out, and especially with having problems in the marriage, and if you have your child, I would start to think, wait a minute, I've procreated with this person. That
Mm-hmm.
makes my kid half Cylon. And they never really explore that with him
No,
at this
no, they
point.
don't. But see, he wasn't. Yeah, he they
But does
focused it
Tyrell,
more. They focused it more on the other baby.
yeah, they really did. And I just, that would have been so cool if they had added that going through his head, or at least have him voice that, even to Tori in that moment. Yeah, I'm having problems with Callie, but what about my son?
Dwayne, I know all about that too, buddy. I've been there, done that. God, I could go through my personal like X Files and tell you about tales about that one. But yeah, um, yeah, it's not just men, but women also. You're spot on with that.
Mm-hmm.
And Shane said probably thinks it's like Hilo Dina love being the missing ingredient. Hail, Zax. Good to see you, buddy. Um, yeah, it's with this, like, it gets really complicated, and then you start getting into the real shit after here, because we're gonna in a second cut over to the Demetrius, and oh man, they're having all kind of shit problems on that ship.
Yes, they are.
Um, so, well, I'll go ahead and continue on a little bit. So with the
Okay.
with the Demetrius, you could see like it's one of those ships that's just really cramped. It's dirty. The crew has been out there. It looks like a little while, a few weeks now, because I think it's mentioned that they've been out there like 3 weeks. And, Kara talks to Gata briefly, and the Sharon and the others are like, we're doubling back to another location again, and essentially he says, yeah, the captain feels that it's she missed something. That's what her gut's telling her. The one of the other crew members, one of the in this version, like red shirts, like speaks up and and kind of gets snippy, and Anders kind of makes a snippy comment to him, and tensions are kind of running high, and Kara can hear him talking as she's on the deck above, and she talks to Hilo, which doesn't do too much, and then then she meets with Anders, who reminds her how everyone kind of volunteered to help her out. And then there's arguing about their marriage and everything else. And then, of course, with Kara, doesn't matter if you're angry, not angry, whatever. Some way, somehow, you're going to wind up banging. And so they wind up banging. And then afterwards, she's like laying there, and she said she feels like an outsider to herself, which is kind of like big clue number one, after all that's happened, that she may not be who she is. So then we see and we're checking in with Bill, who is like tending to Rosalind in the sick bay. He's sitting there with her, and this is so sweet. He's like sitting there reading to her as she's like undergoing her chemo, and it's just a really tender moment, and I really like that.
I did too.
Yeah, I thought that was very touching. And then we cut over to Colonial 1, and Lee is getting sworn in as the delegate for Caprica, and the press, of course, because the press is annoying, they're asking a bunch of questions about the Demetrius and what's going on, and Rosalind tells Bill, she's like, Jesus, I'm going to be covering, your ass on this one for a while, and
yes,
because they cut they deflect the questions away, and Rosalind tells the reporters, she's going to see them at the appropriate time when it's an open question at her next press conference. But it's there's a lot of stuff going on.
There really is. And I want to go back to the Demetrius. What again? Here's the humans. They're you could tell they're hot. They're just sweating from head to toe. They're cramped. Starbuck, she's frantically doing her thing, and the crew, they don't know what's going on. You can tell that trust has just broken down. Mm-hmm. And when she has that conversation with Sam, you can see her trying to figure out who is she now? She doesn't really know. And it's like her and Sam are connected by this information that they're both different now. You know, we know Sam's a Cylon, and we know something is up with Kara. We don't know what it is, but we know it's something just by her actions and just by her own words. But they can't discuss it together. They can't discuss why they've changed. You know, he can't tell her he's changed.
No.
Because he knows how she'll react. And she can't tell him really how she's changed because she doesn't know how. She doesn't know the why of it herself. She's trying to put these things in words. So they have this connection that they can't even grow together on. It kind of separates them.
Her Korean says the crew is literally on the science fiction version of a septic pump truck.
I mean, yeah.
They are.
Ugh. And you feel that. You get that. You know, it's hot in there. It's sweaty. They probably all stink. You know, they don't trust each other. The ship itself
probably stinks because, like I
right.
said, it's like the sewage recycling ship.
Yeah. You know, the only one who seems to really have any semblance of trying to maintain control and structure is Hilo.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's kind of the glue right now that's holding everyone together because he's basically telling them, hey, y'all just need to shut up and do your job. And then with her, he's like, okay, what's our plan? What's our next move? Because she's all over the place and they're all over the place. But he's like, well, God, somebody's got to keep things together. So it's on him right now. And I've always loved Hilo's character. Always loved his character. And this is just one of those scenes that makes me appreciate him even more because you see how far he's come. And at this point, Kara is more of an outsider than Athena is. You know, yeah. Athena's the Cylon, but she is one of them now.
Yeah. She's a hardened member of the crew now.
Yeah. If she came up and she was like, hey, guys, this is what we're doing, they would trust her implicitly.
Mm-hmm.
But Starbuck, no, they don't, that trust is broken. They don't know what the hell's going on. And you can see it. And I love it the way it's played out in this scene. I really
do. It really is. And then it's just I guess the one thing that wasn't believable to me, I want to go back to the thing where Lee was getting sworn in. You know, and like the reporter asked Rosalind, so you know, basically, so you're okay with him taking this position even after being on Baltar's defense team, and she's like, yeah, you know, and it seems like all that tension that was just like so recent is all gone now, and it's like. Yeah, she went back. It's like they went back to being all like Mama Dama, Papa Dama, and Son Dama,
and Baby Dama.
and it's like wait, all right, y'all was in each other's throats just an episode ago.
Yeah.
So. I mean,
now, how much of that is show for everyone, and how much of that do you think she really believes it?
I think she still might be torn deep down, but she seemed pretty chill about it. And it's like, you know, and it might be because, you know, you can make the argument that it's because, you know, she's like the Admiral's girlfriend now. So maybe... you know, there's a little bit more leadway there because she don't even seem mad at him about sending the Demetrius out.
No, she seems more like, I hope I don't have to tell you I told you so. But yeah, she doesn't seem, she seems resigned that he believes in what he's doing, and she's not going to fight him on it. She's not sold out on it, but she's going to let it go. I did notice that. And I wonder if part of it is, the scene where he's reading to her, and you can just, Doc Cottle is giving her the medicine for nausea. That scene, I don't know how many times I've seen it, but this is the first time I've seen it where I'm like, that is accurate.
Mm-hmm.
That is so accurate, because when my husband had cancer, he would get horrible nausea.
Yeah.
To where, he would have to take his medication, and sometimes he couldn't be on the computer. He couldn't read. He would just, lay there, and I'd talk to him, or I'd sit by his side, and we would just, I'd kind of just try and keep his mind off the nausea. And all the times I'd seen the show before was before he had cancer. So when I was watching that scene again this week, it just struck me how accurate that was, because I'm like, I've been a Dama. I've been there. I know exactly what's happening in this scene, and it was so powerful. So they did some research. They really did, because they nailed it. And I love that scene. That scene is precious to me. It really is.
Yeah, it is. We're gonna get into in a minute, like, and where God's Lee starts interacting with Zarek, and that's crazy too, because you could see that Zarek's trying to get his hooks into him.
Right. Yep.
So all right. And I do, before we move on, I do like the line of dialogue that where Admiral Adama tells Rosalind, I'm glad that it's like I got the chance to know why I still trust Kara.
Yes.
Know that, and that in so many words, that's when he said something akin to that, and that resonated with me, because it's like, that's still his daughter.
Right. And Rosalind was not going to fight him on it. It was almost, they've gotten to a point where she was like, okay, I may not trust Kara, but I trust Adama, and I'm going to let him do his thing. He felt he needed to send her out. I'm going to go with this. I may not like it. I may not have done it, but I'm going to let him do it, because I love him and I trust him. So let's see what happens.
Well, you think about it, okay, it's when, you meet somebody new and they have kids, and you realize that, like, okay, I'm not just accepting them, I'm accepting their kids too. And to essentially, I mean, if you're going to date Admiral Adama, well, that Lee is his kid and Kara is his kid.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's part of the package.
If you're gonna be a part of my life, you're gonna have to be a part of their life. Mm-hmm. We're talking family here.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. So, all right. So we go to the where the quorum is having its first meeting. Zarek is vice president, tells Lee beforehand Rosalind wants to keep him on the sidelines and is still harboring a vindictive nature because of his actions during the trial. He eventually convinces Lee to trust him and focus their efforts in finding out what other secrets Rosalind has hidden, and leaves behind a docket of classified material for him to view when the meeting breaks momentarily. Yeah. And you can tell that, Zarek has motives. Obviously, he's gonna play into that. And then we go over to what I guess would be considered the Rebel base star, the 6 model Natalie, and the other Cylon dissenters are discussing what to do. Natalie tells them that Cabell, who has been escorted to the ship by a Centurion, Box Threes, which was on a quest to discover the truth about the Final Five.
Mm-hmm.
They all agree that Deanna should be unboxed, and despite Cabell's reservations, he goes along with it.
Yeah.
So, thoughts so far?
Okay. We are really seeing the breakdown of the Cylon structures here. Mm-hmm. It's like what's happening with the humans is kind of being reflected as what's happening with the Cylons. And I wouldn't trust any of the Cabells. I'm sorry. If they, if he came to them and said, I believe everything you say, I'm going to worship your God, I'm going to do whatever you say to do. 6, we're going to put you in charge. Your models are going to run the show, and we're just going to sit back and chill. I wouldn't buy it. I would be like, no, he's got something up his sleeve. We can't trust this guy. Sorry. And everything that he's saying to them, he is lulling them into that false sense of security. And you'd think they would know it. But I think they want so badly to believe, okay, we've taken this stance. We've shown our cards. Mm-hmm. We all really want to be one big happy family because we're better than the humans, which they're not. They're just like us. But, they think we're better. We're machines, but we're evolved. And, we've done this. So now we're going to go ahead tentatively, but we're going to go ahead and be one with one on this. We're going to stay on our own ships, but we're still going to be one fleet. But you'd think they would see that with everything that he's pulled in the past. And he was so adamant, his model is so adamant about, forbidding any talk of the five, forbidding any religious experience or any kind of, we're going to search them out. I mean, he boxed an entire line over it. Yep. So why now would he all of a sudden be like, okay, I hear you, and I'll take what you say seriously. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have bought that for all the money in the world. I would have been like, nope, you're full of it. And they dropped their guard, and the shit hits the fan.
Yeah, and what you're talking about, going on to like what happens next, he tells them, he says, oh, I'll unbox her, and then, you can go to the resurrection ship and visit. And, then they go over there and boom, he tells his base stars to like start, lighting it up. Mm-hmm. So you could see like he's not beyond killing his own people,
killing his own kind to serve his own purpose. That's why when he makes that thing about democracy, I'm like, dude,
he's more about,
are you kidding?
He's more about being right than,
Exactly. And he has to do something drastic because they are split down the middle.
Yeah.
They are totally divided at this point.
Kind of a startling parallel to today with certain people, huh?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is.
It really is.
Macklin made it. Hi, Macklin. Hope you're doing well. It's great to have you here. Thank you so much. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That could just happen that way, but it's like you said, they totally bought it, went over there.
They did, and I'm like it, and you can see there's a little bit of reservation, but I think it's more it's drowned out by that desire to believe in him.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I have reservation, but he's one of us. We all want the best for us. And yeah, we've had to go through this little tiny, civil war, but it'll be okay. There's no way he would ever hurt us. And what does he do? No resurrection ship around them. Let's just go ahead and blow them out of the stars.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And cut over to I'm going to go ahead and continue.
Okay.
And cut over to the quorum meeting. That's still going on. Rosalind is not answering questions about the Demetrius still. The quorum goes into kind of, people get animated and blah, blah, blah. Zarek uses the gavel. It said, pipe down, and then has Lee speak. Lee accuses Rosalind of using an executive order during the trial to form a tribunal and try to consolidate power. The quorum erupts in rage at Rosalind, who unsuccessfully tries to bury the topic. And again, Lee got roped right in because, Lee's very much an idealist. He is, he wants to do the right thing, but he also, he wants to chase the truth. And I can understand that desire, because that is a very driving force that I have, of course. And you guys in the audience that know me, you know that about me. And if you have someone that is skilled and master a manipulator as what Zarek is, he totally, he found that information and just, bam, spin it his way, got Lee fired up, and boy, just set him loose.
Yeah, I don't even think Lee's signature, the ink on his signature, had dried on the paper when Zarek slithered over there and was like, hey, look at this, let's bring this up. Your daddy and the president are getting a little too thick, and I don't like it, and I don't know what she's planning, but it's not good. Here, look at this. It's like he's washing his hands of it and giving it to Lee.
Well, no, what he's doing is, of course, taking advantage of possibility, because in the end, Zarek was all about coming to power himself.
Right.
And he's going to find a way to get any path back to that.
Right. And looking good in the process, because when he's over there banging that gavel like, oh, come on, people, let's listen to the president. I'm like, dude, who are you fooling? We know what you're up to. You're on your own side. Although I do love that character. I do love his character. And the fact that Richard Hatch plays him is just icing on the cake,
Hail that 70s rock man. It's good to see you. Congratulations, Resricam. We will definitely, when you get a chance, we will spotlight that for you. Also, hail to Godzillionaire. Appreciate it. And I do want to take a moment and say thank you to everyone that has been trying to help my mom and I. Big shout out to Nick for doing that fundraiser the other night. It completely caught me unaware, and it was just a wonderful gesture, and I was so touched by that. With what Nick was able to raise, where we're at now, probably hanging at about we're about, I think, from that what did I say with the medical bills of the 1,300 and something? We're pretty fairly close, folks. We're about $500 away. We raised just a little over $800. So
That's amazing.
yeah, I just want to say thank you to the community, and thank you so much for the help. Because again, I wasn't asking for any of this. I wasn't looking for a handout. It was nothing like that. And for you guys to be so wonderful and to organize that, I'll tell you privately, it brought me to tears because I didn't realize, that I made such an impact with people. And I just want to say thank you so much for your friendship and your love and your support. Every way that you've given it, and it has nothing to do with monetary. It's just being there for me. I can't tell you how wonderful each and every one of you men and women are. You're amazing folks. Amazing. So I just wanted to let you guys know and give you a big virtual hug for all of that. So thank you.
Well, we're all here for you, Drew. We're here for you, and we're here for your mom. And anything you need, if it's within our power to do it, we'll do it. That's what community does. That's what family does.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to say thank you. You really are amazing. I love y'all. I do. All right, let's get back to it here. Looks like we got where we're back in Cheryl's quarters, and Galen's trying to tell Callie, what's going on. She's not having it. She walks out and she's looking for more pills. When she comes back, she finds a note asking to meet at a weapons locker, and she's follows Galen, assuming that he's off to have another tryst. She hides in a maintenance tunnel and listens as Galen is meeting with Ty and Tori, and is shocked to the core to discover that her husband is a Cylon. As they continue their meeting, Kelly knocks a plate, which causes the group to split up and leave preemptively. Callie runs back to her quarters, but not before Tori discovers a panel jarred loose near the meeting room. When Callie arrives back at their quarters, she confronts her husband and accuses him of using her to bear a hybrid child. She strikes him with a wrench, knocks him unconscious, and steals a key and flees with Nicholas to the launch tubes, intending to kill herself and her child. Once there, she goes to activate the launch tube airlock, but is stopped by Tori, who manages to calm her down and explain that she and Galen only recently discovered they were Cylons. She takes Nicholas from Callie and then suddenly knocks her unconscious. When Callie wakes up, Tori is on the other side of the airlock with Nicholas and vents her into space.
Yes, she does.
And we end with Admiral Adama hearing the news of Callie's body being found outside the airlock, which he delivers the news to Galen, and that is that. So, man, a lot to unpack.
Wow. Yeah.
Especially the exchange between Tori and Callie. And God, this really made me hate Tori in in such a way.
Oh,
but
yeah,
but
me too.
but but it's messed up. I understood why, because in Tori's mind, she's like, oh, we can't have no witnesses, we can't have anybody knowing this before,
Mm-hmm.
we can't let this get out before it's supposed to be out.
Right.
And
Which
so
begs the question, why didn't Callie go to Adama? Do you think it's a matter of she doesn't know who she can trust and she's so messed up at this point she just... I mean,
Yeah.
it's one thing for her to want to end her life, but to take her baby with her? That's hardcore.
Well, because she was thinking, okay, this is a hybrid kid, and part Cylon, and she's like full on, I hate the toasters type of person. She's like, I dislike toasters. So yeah, she was just gonna go that route. And hail Darius, good to see you, buddy. Yeah, but the exchange between them was just like, oh, it just makes you hate Tori extra, because she like gained her trust, then she knocks her out, then she's like, I'm just gonna send you out the airlock, and it's like, damn.
And every time I see it, it still takes me by surprise. I know it's coming,
but
it's like, wow, what did you just do?
But ever since like Tori replaced Billy, she had that air of unlikability about her. And then you add this on, it's just like, oh, bitch, it's on.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And see, and I wonder, okay, I'm like, well, and I know there are regulations and stuff, and there's some areas the show didn't want to go. I mean, spacing a baby would be really hardcore.
Right, yeah, and then Rucri says Ronald D. Moore follows that rule. You can't do bad things to a baby on TV. Yeah, exactly. And
but from her point of view, you'd think she would have just flushed them both, unless she too realized, well, this is a half Cylon baby, which means it's
because
in her
at that
mind,
point
an
they
all
didn't
Cylon
know.
baby.
Yeah. At that point,
and
they didn't
Carol's
know.
baby.
Yeah.
And she's like all about him right now. Plus, it would kind of make her look like the hero. Oh, well, Callie got flushed into space, and Nicholas was sitting there crying, and I saved him. I brought him to you, Terrell. Look at what I did for you.
God, wrestling. Yeah. Oh,
Space baby.
Resurgam says, "Sound like my parents. I brought you to this world. I can take you out too." Yep.
I've actually said that to my kids when they've gotten lippy before.
Rucri said, "I'm from an old school, and from Tori's introduction early on, I disliked her. She reminded me of a sorority activist that corrected everyone they met." Yeah, and it's kind of like that, dude. And I felt that kind of same way about her, and it's like, damn, Billy was so much better.
Oh, I loved Billy.
Yeah.
And Tori has just embraced this whole superiority thing now. She is hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah.
Callie's life meant nothing to her. I mean, yes, I can see her feeling that instinct to protect them, but she did it in a cold manner. Like you said, she gained her trust, and she kind of wooed her. But
oh man, Rucri said, "I sure hope Tori gets what's coming." And Shane says she was sleeping with Anders, Baltar, and now moves on to Tiro. Busy woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they wanted her to sleep with Baltar because they wanted her to get intel, but with the Anders and Tiro, it's like, yeah, damn,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's a man. Yeah, she's just all like,
she's a new woman. She's feeling herself.
Yeah, I guess.
Biatch.
But hey, I mean, if one thing watching BSG tells you is, man, there are chicks out there, my friends, that can rival us dudes when it comes to like,
Yeah.
searching to get some action, and it's like, damn, I because usually we're the group kind of known for that, and then it's like, no, there's some chicks out there that can hang.
They'll cut you. Definitely.
Got zillionaires coming.
Sorry. That shit.
I love it.
I'm dead.
Oh, that's great. New Silence get retreaded asking for credit. Oh man. Oh, Godzillionaire.
Well, I will say, when this episode ended, I was like, wait, isn't there more? What? It's this episode for me seemed to go really quickly.
It does. Did
it seem that way to you?
This one is rather, if you want to call it like a leaner episode, it kind of was, because it was very linear. It just stuck to mainly, A plot, B plot, and and that was pretty much that. And the main thing that it was I think this was more of a move the general like plots along episode, and it was very it was very much like just one of those like things where it was almost like a connector episode. And then you're gonna get into one probably coming up next that is more of has more gravitas to it, I guess.
Yeah. And they did it very well. I mean, the pacing was great. That I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, hail Parrothead. Good to see you as well. I think I'm trying to remember what the next one is. I think what we're gonna get into with the next one is when you start we start getting into where they're gonna meet up with the rebel Cylons, which is one of those where it's like, well, Season 4, Episode 4 is Escape Velocity, and that is where, the next one's going to focus a little more on Callie, the aftermath of her death, how the deck crew takes it, so on and so forth. There'll be some Baltari stuff in there, and so that's what's gonna be. But this episode, and maybe even the next one, is they're kind of connectors. They're not super, I guess, intense, and and that was the thing about season 4, because and I'm pretty sure that you have we have Ruth Korean that can speak to it too, because he's watched it many times, and I think a lot of people here that have watched it all the way through. Okay, you guys remember season 4? It was very hit and miss, because you had these type episodes that they went by like super quick, and it felt like just a connector. And and that's like what it was. And they had done, and I think they had been more careful to avoid that formula in the in, I guess, the previous seasons, because it always seemed like every episode had a sort of gravitas to it.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Yeah. You're starting to get where they are a little bit hit and miss in season 4. And anybody that's watched the show, you guys know that. Even when we get to the finale, there's some things. And oh, God, I can't wait till when we finally do get to the finale, guys, because, oh, good God, we're going to have a spirited discussion in the chat about that one.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, I totally agree. But what's funny about this season is that even though it is so hit and miss, some of my favorite scenes are in this season. Like some of the stuff that, I don't want to give away any spoilers, but the things that unfold with the Cylons, some of these scenes are amazing because you really start to see who they, I mean, we know who they are, but they start to discover who they really are.
Yeah.
And it's so cool the way it unfolds.
If you want to engage the chat for just a second, I need to step away. I'll be right back.
Okay.
But you can address Ruth Korean's point there.
Let's see. Michael Ninkin, the director, was known for being the black mark. If Ninkin was directing, someone was going to die in the episode. Well, and somebody did. I mean, I still can't get over that. Callie just getting shot out in space. And they linger on her. The way they just kind of, she's floating there. And, we know from earlier on in the show, her and Terrell had to go from being in the airlock, they couldn't get out and they had to get flushed into space, even just for a little tiny bit, just for a few seconds. And he bounced back a lot better than she did. And we kind of see, that effect and what that had on her. And then to see her, that's how she ends. I mean, and I was never really a big fan of Callie. I mean, she was okay. I didn't have a problem with her like I did Tori. But, I wouldn't really want that for anyone. And just to see her meet her end like that and the camera lingering on her eyes. I don't know. I just found that really, really chilling. And then to have Adama telling Terrell after he had just gotten his ass kicked by her. I mean, she picked up that wrench and just beamed him several times. It was very brutal. Very brutal. I mean, I was kind of surprised. Who knows? Maybe she thought she killed him. I was surprised with her state of mind and everything that she was going through that she didn't just keep hitting. And then, Ruth Korean, he brings that up where the earlier season where she was, assaulted by him, almost killed by him. And now the tables are turned and it's like, oh, you're a Cylon? Dude, I'm sorry. All bets are off. I'm going to beat the crap out of you. And she does. And that was their last interaction. He wasn't able to explain anything to her. Not that she would have believed him, but at least, he didn't even get the chance to try because she was like, sorry, everything's okay. And then bam. And then she's gone. I don't know. I find this episode, particularly that interaction, is just so powerful. It's really powerful.
No, thanks, Parrot Head.
God.
I guess we're ramping up for Thursday Night Throwdown. I'm going to try to join those guys tonight. So, if you guys watch comics, which I know many of you do, don't forget to catch me later on Comics Division. I'm going to try to be on there tonight. Let's see how things go with Mom. But hopefully I can jump on there and hang out with those guys too. I hope so. But yeah, I think he should be going live in about an hour-ish, something like that. Let's see. Has anyone played the original the Xbox BSG game? Yeah, I remember that Resurgam, and I did play it. It, I was kind of pissed because with that game, they sort of like mishmashed this and the old series, and it had no continuity to it. The the thing with uh, the thing with that game was it was off to me, but I'll tell you what, if you get the chance, Resurgam, play. If you have Steam, download BSG Deadlock if you get the opportunity to purchase it. That game is really fun. It's more of a strategy game. It's you know obviously putting together fleets and units and everything like that. It's kind of like a hybrid RTS, but the story in that game is very good, as Shane Nolan points out. The story is very good, and it does bring continuity because they strictly use this universe, and they bring the first Cylon War. If you really crave some first Cylon War content, that game does a great job of delivering it to you. So you'll enjoy Battlestar Galactica Deadlock if you enjoy this show, and it's one of those games, man, you can't go wrong with. It really was. Got great reviews too. So yeah, a lot of folks throwing up the hashtag Dix Division. That's right, hashtag Dix Division, hashtag Badge Guard. Awesome, you guys are awesome. So, all right.
Great.
Wait, what are we talking about with the dead? Wait, was something I miss about like dead eyes?
Well, what I was saying is I was elaborating on the scene with Callie.
Oh,
and
okay.
how it wasn't just that she was spaced; it's that the camera lingers on her,
Okay,
particularly
yeah,
on
yeah.
her eyes.
Okay, I remember.
And it made me think that earlier in the show, when her and Itera were locked in that airlock, and the only way to get them out was to space them into the other ship. And even though they were just in space for a few seconds, he recovered better than she did. And when she's laying there in that incubator, you can see her eyes. You can see the result that the spacing took on her eyes. And then when she's out there now, it's the same thing. It hones in on that. And it's just so chilling to me.
Yeah. Yeah. People decide to call me out the blue. Yeah, Deadlock had a last DLC release, I believe, last year. They did their last DLC. That's the latest one, Rip Korean, because that had them. They put in the Mercury class and some other stuff. They put in the Mercury class Battlestar. They put in the modern Cylon base ship. They put in the the Battlestar that the Valkyrie is in there.
Oh, wow.
And
nice.
A couple other ones. So yeah, there's some good stuff in there, and it is worth it, man. So because I have that game, and you guys know me being a Battlestar fan, I think I got that game the very first day that came out because I was like, "There's a Battlestar Galactica game! Oh my god!" And and I've gotten every DLC since. So, that game's awesome. And at some point, if you guys want to see actual gameplay, like those of you that are gamers, that are interested in this, that watch this show all the time, let me know. And at some point, I can fire up a game stream and play some of it, because the story in that game really is awesome. Because you kind of get the feel like some of those characters are like, you know, the 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 moms, dads, grandparents of these characters that you see in the show now, the ones in the game, because some of them have the same last names, because there's like an Agathon in there. There's like, obviously, I think it's Kane's mom or Kane's grandma that's it's in there. Oh my gosh, Lady Miss, thank you so much. Lady Miss just tipped $25. Thank you so much, Lady
Oh,
Miss.
thank you, Lady Mist.
I appreciate it. Wow. Thank you. I don't know what to say. Lady Mist is so wonderful. Appreciate you so much. Not only does she mod for our channel, she's just good people.
She's a sweetheart. She is just a sweetheart.
So thank you. As I said, guys, my mom and I thank you from the bottom of our hearts for all of this. We never expected any of this, and it's just I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful. And speaking of mom, we're probably going to call it at this point. Fears Within, great to see you, buddy. I haven't talked to you in a long time. Oh man, good to see you, my friend. I'm just doing a show I do every Thursday. Talk about Battlestar Galactica here on this show, and I hope you'll show your face around here more, sir. Because I'd love to introduce you to all these wonderful folks. Shout out to my buddy Fears Within. He is a Twitch streamer. He's one of the friends that I had all the way back from my Twitch career before I came over to YouTube.
Nice.
He's a good person and good friend, and I'm glad to see my old friends poke their head in and check out what I'm doing now. It's
that's
awesome. Great. Yeah, and he's got a good YouTube channel. He plays a lot of Dead by Daylight. He's just good people, man. And Fears, I hope everything's going well with you. And say hi to Deanna for me. And like I said, buddy, I just hope that you're doing well. But as I said, I think we're going to wind it down here, folks, because speaking of mom, I got to check on mom and make sure that she's situated for the evening. Make sure, that she's got all her meds before she goes to sleep. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go and we'll let Arwen do a little outro, talk about what she's got going on, and then we will bow on out of here. So you have the floor, Miss Arwen.
Well, tomorrow I will be on Lorena Creel's Her Lunch Table at noon, and I'm really looking forward to that, hanging out with her and Fat Steven and everyone in the chat. So come out and give us all some love. I'm sure she will appreciate it. And then let's see, Sunday I've got at 5:30 with the Fan Fantasy Story Ideas channel, FFSI. We're hosting Dadman Walking 55. He's going to be a guest on there, and we're just going to talk about what makes him tick and what IPs he enjoys, and we'll probably talk a little bit about Fortnite because he's been playing, and they finally roped me in. I don't know when I'm going to play my first game. They're going to have to teach me, or I'll die from the first moment I hit the ground. But anyway, so he's going to be our guest, and that's what I've got going on this weekend. So it's going to be busy. And then Saturday evenings, I'll be in between. I'll be in the chat, but I'll be at Klobby's Star Trek stream, and then sharing that with Rambling Canucks karaoke stream. So come out and sing a song or two. It's fun. That's what I've got going on.
It really is when they do that. It's fun.
It is. It's just kick back, no pressure. It's a blast.
Oh, you guys are so wonderful, Lady Miss. Just being quiet tonight, but want Mom to get what she needs. Moms are special. Love you, dear. Thank you. Yeah, it's great to see you again, Linda. Great to see you. Thank you so much for coming by. It's funny because it seems like right at the end we always get a rush of folks that pop in, but that's great to see you. And I hope you catch the replay and everything. But again, thank you so much, you guys. The help that you've given Mom and I is just so amazing. And Rita, Hun, I need your email address again because for whatever reason, I was absent-minded Tuesday and I didn't write it down. So if you could drop that in the chat, I appreciate it because I'll reach out and we'll catch up, Rita. So please leave that for me. But yeah, I'm just so grateful to everyone. So thank you so much. Make sure that you catch next week's episode because we'll have obviously the fallout from Callie's death and everything. So that should be interesting. And we'll get into some real good stuff coming up, I think, for the next couple episodes. But next week should be pretty good. Hail, Kogi Pan. Great to see you, my friend.
Hey there.
Yeah. And no problem, Dad Man Walking. You just got plugged by Arwen because I guess you guys are going to be having a convo. So that'll be cool to see. And yeah, of course, folks, you can catch me on this channel, and especially Tuesdays when I do something completely different than Battlestar Galactica, because on Tuesdays I talk about what's going on in the world, and I don't
spicy.
I don't hold back. No, I don't hold back.
No. And you shouldn't. You shouldn't.
And I'm going to get I'll probably wind up on some 3-letter agency list after a while, but that's all right because until they haul me off to a stockade, I'll be here reporting on the things that are going on for you. So
somebody has to, right?
You can count on that. Oh man, I got a feeling though, like Roof Korean and Resgam and a few other guys, they'd probably like put together a rescue mission and try to break me out of the stockade.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
So, all righty. Well, again, thank you so much, folks, for showing up tonight. Make sure that you take care of yourselves, take care of each other. And till next time, look up, blah, 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 blah. So say we all.
So say we all.